Hey guys, I've been thinking lately that a lot of people these days will self-harm, and I want to share my story. So, about a year ago in February, I moved in with my dad. But before that, I lived with my mom since I was in fourth grade. And it wasn't easy. It was stressful. My mom and I don't really get along all that well. So it was stressful. And I know she tried her best to give me the things that she needed, that I needed and stuff. Moved into a place with horses because that's what I love, it's my passion. And then I still felt the darkness. Still didn't feel like I thought I should. So I resorted to self-harm. They started small, just little scratches, didn't really break skin, and I hid them well. I did it in winter so I could wear long sleeves because I like to be outside. And if I was outside in long sleeves in the summer, I'd be hot. So I did it in the winter. But they got worse and worse, and one day I decided to write love on my left arm. And it was pretty deep, it bled, and it didn't really scare me at first. I didn't think anything of it. So I let that heal up, and then I decided that the bullying was getting too much, so I wrote hatred on my right arm. That one didn't bleed as much, but it was still there. It was sloppier too because I'm right-handed, and it was on my right hand arm, really. But I was really nervous that people would find out because it was sort of spring in a way, and I had field hockey going on, so I had to be super careful. So I would always wear long sleeves at practice, say that I was cold and I didn't want to get sick. And one day during the game, they made me take my um, shirt off underneath because it was too hot. Well, it had started scarring up, and the scabs were there, but they were smaller. And we were in a circle. We were telling people our goals for the game. We were ready. It was my 8th grade year. We were ready. And my friend next to me looked down at my arm and asked what was that, and I didn't reply, and she realized what it was, and her eyes got really big. I was scared that she was gonna go tell somebody, like the coach, because then my parents would find out, and that wouldn't end well, because my parents would already yell at me if I fell and hurt myself, and they thought that I did it on purpose. They were scared for that. So I lived on, the scars healed up. I kept going. In the summer, I was okay. Uh, but before the summer started, it was before I moved with my dad. It was about January or December, around my birthday, and my mom told me something, and I didn't really like the way it sounded. I got really upset. I thought she told me to go to hell, and I said, maybe I will. And I walked into my room, and we had just moved, and there was a box cutter on the floor. And it was a time that I didn't really think before I acted. I regret it all now. I took the box cutter and I didn't cry. I cut into my arm, and I realized halfway through the first one that it was a bad idea, but I did 3 more. The third one was the deepest and it hurt, so I stopped, knowing that I wasn't numb anymore. I could feel the pain. I knew what I was doing was wrong. I'd been clean for a while. But I covered them, and a few days later, my friend needed help in the guidance office, so I went with her, and it was in gym, and I was wearing short sleeves. I told everybody it was from the horses that I got scratched, and they believed it because my horses were reckless. So the guidance counselor saw them. She didn't say anything, but she sent my friend back and kept me, and she asked what they were. I said nothing, they're from the horses, and she knew that I was lying. She said, you can't do that, and it's mandatory that I tell your parents. And I started crying then. I was like, don't tell my dad. My dad will kill me. Please do not tell my dad. And she's like, I won't tell your dad, but I need to tell your mom. And I said, I understood. And she called my mom, and I sat outside crying, and my friends came by. My boyfriend came by. He didn't even know what was going on. I was crying. I didn't want this to happen. I was scared what was going to happen. And my mom came in. Well, she called me back into the guidance office, and I talked to my mom on the phone. My mom was crying. She said she kept saying that she was sorry, and I was crying too. I said, please don't be mad at me, please don't yell at me. And the guidance counselor said that she told her that that's the worst thing you could do was to yell at me because it would only make it worse. And my mom said that she never said that, and I thought she did. I still think to this day that she did because we were having a pretty serious fight. And I did a little while ago when I was here because there's so much drama at my school. I don't really like it, but my scars have healed up pretty well. It's really hard to see the love and the hatred on my arms. You have to like know what you're looking for and where they are. I made this video to let people know that everyone will start stuff about you. You'll always go through hard times, but you don't need to self-harm to feel better about yourself at all. I mean, it's not the way out. I regret everything that I did, and I really never want to do it again, and I'm working on it. My dad knows now that I self-harmed before, and every day he asked if I still like living with him, and I nod yes. I always have wanted to live with him, but I didn't want to leave my mom, thinking it was the wrong time. So he talks to me, and I talk to him, and it's good. I can talk to him about pretty much anything, but I still have my hard times. But self-harm isn't the way out of everything. It's not the way out of anything, really. It's not going to get you anywhere. It may release the pain for a little while, but it's just going to come right back. Talk about it with somebody like a counselor if you really need to talk. Don't let it out on your arms because those scars are always going to be with you. And people love you. You may not think that people love you, but they do. They love you for who you are. They may not say they do, but they do. Like, what if your parents walked in on you dead? That would be terrible. Or what if they walked in on you bleeding out and they just save you? That would still be terrible. But don't let people control your life. Cutting is not always the answer. Burning, taking pills. Just don't. It's not the way out. From my personal experience, I never want to do it again. And I sure hope that you guys don't do it. So, just remember, I'm always here for you guys, and don't let anybody get to you. Thanks.